It's exciting. You got to give the people what they want. All right, we're back.
We're back.
Part 2. We're back. Same faces, same places. New draw. It's
Chuck. What was your synopsis?
We're gonna dig into the men's draw here. Starting at the top. Well, first of all, if you're listening to this episode, then make sure you go back. We covered mixed doubles and the women's draw in part 1, and now here in part 2, we're gonna go through the men's draw. Starting with Mr. Jannik Sinner's top of his quarter. He is. I think, Torrey, you've had some interesting words that really resonated with the people about Mr. Sinner. Cyborg, simulation, AI spawn. I think
AI spawn, and unfortunately, physically a little bit under his top right now. If there's 2 ways this play out with Jannik. He wins this thing and has a reboot of Australia, where he almost lost in that crazy match where he was shaken and had a 20-minute break
against Holger.
To Holger, right?
Yep.
I want to add in a quick caveat, addendum to to Dimitrov and Wemby.
Yep.
Right. So we've seen him physically not be at his peak, and I have to reference this under the umbrella of last week at Cincinnati, where he was clearly not playing his best there. He is Cyborg Spawn. He is AI in real flesh. He is Jarvis. However, I also will say physically, if there's kryptonite, the physicality of the game, the physicality of the schedule is his kryptonite. And right now he's not playing his best. Should he get through the first week, which all things point that he should, he will be Cyborg Spawn in the second week.
Well, is he healthy right now?
His vulnerability is his first week. Is he
healthy?
He's
is he even healthy right now? I think that's the question around him. Is he even healthy?
Yeah, so like what he played 5 games against Carlos in the finals of Cincy, right? Showed no issues prior to that, right? But then gets to that match and he wasn't able to even finish the first set, right? I haven't seen if it was illness.
He said he was sick. He had some kind of illness. He doesn't play the mixed here. I think he's got a pretty big question mark around him right now. Of course, he's a high level player. Of course, he can do it. Of course, he's all of these things. But this week, these 2 weeks, is he that?
So I think that's the thing, right? We have to look at the timing of it, right? So he's got this entire week, of just practice. He's not playing matches. He's got a chance to heal up, right? And usually I would say, okay, I'm not concerned about him in the first week of a Grand Slam, but Alex Poprin lurking if Sinner isn't exactly where he needs to be. Like, Alex is the kind of player that could, he's beaten Novak in a Grand Slam. Like, he can do it. I would, if I'm in the Sinner camp, I'm not pumped about that potential second round matchup. You'd like something a little bit more straightforward, but so the draw goes. I don't know. I think we'll again, Torrey, to your point, like when he had those issues against Holger in Australia, it was quite hot, right? Won't be a problem for week 1 of the U.S. Open. So I think it's easy money saying that him getting through this section, unscathed is probably what's going to happen. I do want to give a little shout out to college tennis, though. If you scroll down a bit, Nuno Borges against Brandon Holt. That's fun. Brandon. Tracy's son is Brandon. Tracy's son is Brandon, and then Nuno played a year, and Brandon played at USC, I believe, and then Nuno played at Mississippi State. Is that right? So and Nuno's having a great year. A little bit higher caliber of a player right now than Brandon, but I think that should be a fun one to watch. So if you're in New York on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, whenever that match is played, wouldn't be a terrible outside court match to check out. Tommy Paul, where the hell has Tommy Paul been? I know you got engaged, got something like what's he been doing? Not playing tennis? Just
catching up on his Raptor payments is what it sounds like he's been doing. Whole nother talk show there. Tommy Paul, the Demon, and other players like him have been trying to hang on to where they are in a very tectonic plate-filled year. They have been typically the very solid competitors, and Alvin, they're coming up against the players who are starting to just go through them, and they're playing well right now. And I think that's one of the problems with Tommy. They have not had the year they want. Casper Ruud is leading that procession. Obviously, he got hurt a few times, so he's not been playing as well. But Ruud, Demonar, Paul, they're all right there together in their level and then their consistency. But you're starting to see the rest of the tour start to really come through at a point. They're always tough to beat, but unfortunately, if you're playing well and you're hitting through them on the hard court, this is that time for you to be able to shine right now. And those guys have to do so much more to counter. They just need that guy to be a little bit off going forward. I think Tommy is the sleeper in this section. I'm looking forward to Bublik and Cilic. Just because I love Cilic's game, I think that could be a great one.
Former U.S. Open champion,
former U.S. Open champion. He won two, right? Didn't he win U.S. and another? Did he? Or only one?
No, he final. Did he final Wimbledon one year?
Final Wembley? I thought it was Wembley.
Yeah.
Right. Final Wembley. Obviously, that Fucsovics and Shapovalov is going to be another good match. A lot of good matchups in this draw. Musetti and the GMP. I don't see Musetti having too many issues, but at the same time, that could be a tough matchup. So there's a lot of good matches in this section draw, much unlike the Arena and Iga sides of the draw, where there weren't anybody you could really see even threatening. There's 4 matches right there that you're like, ooh, that could be. And I say that to say, let me wrap up back on my segue with Tommy Paul. If he isn't 100%, the last person you want to play being Yannick is Tommy Paul in America. You know what I'm saying? If this match goes 5 and he's not 100%, you don't want to play a crowd favorite American who grinds when you are 60, 70%. The good thing is he is going to get several days off in between. He's got 4 days off before he starts the main. He's got 2 or 3 days to get the first draw started, and so on and so on. But, and unfortunately, Tommy is that matchup toward the end of the week, right? But just saying, this draw here, there's enough players in this section of the draw that could have a depth of 1,000 cuts for Mr. Center, who's already coming in maybe a court low.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, go ahead, Ashley.
I'm sorry. I was just going to jump in. I see a lot of players in here that really have nothing to lose, and I think that makes them dangerous, especially, stacked with some, notable Americans, young Americans, even the young Australian there, School Kate. I think you've got some players who are just going to go for it, and, to your point, Torrey, if Yannick is not 100%, those then become dangerous, and they'll wear you out a little bit, get some energy from the crowds. We'll see how he comes back. And again, it's kind of on his terms with health, right? It just comes down to, is he healthy? Is he feeling good? And can he keep his health above, 85 and then 90% to get through to the second week here?
Yep. Yeah, and so what we're talking about here is, like, even if you look at the splitting up this section of 16 here, all those tricky players that we mentioned, they're all in Tommy's side, not on Yannick's side, right? So
as they should be, right?
That's a second week problem, right? That's a round of 16 second week problem, like Bublik and Cilic and Tommy. Like, Center's got some time to get right, assuming that
it's nothing.
Yeah. I think by the time he gets to the proper match, I think we'll know very well where he stands from a health standpoint. That's the one caveat I'll add in there. All right, let's keep moving. Musetti versus GMP. GMP just hasn't been doing enough this year to really to force me to say this is a tricky matchup. I think I'll have a very similar sentiment about Carlos playing El Pelka down at the bottom. Like, those are just kind of tricky, not straightforward matches. But Mr. Impeshi Pericard hasn't been playing the best tennis as of late. So add that with, I think Musetti's going to be fine against him. I hope so. Obviously, I hope so.
There's a lot of meat in this section, Alvin. Brooksby, Diallo, Caboli, Goffin, Musetti. This is a tough little section for Jack. Once again, Jack has not got the best of draws. It'd been better if he were a 6 or 7 seed, or if he was a 3. I mean, being the 5, he's that high, he's that next tier of seed and the top of it. But this draw here, you're right here. Caboli's playing well. I mean, Musetti's not. Simi's a French, and you got a lot of. You saw that, Alvin? I gave you.
Yeah, I was about shocking.
That's all I'm going to give him, by the way.
Giving Musetti some love.
I say that to say, and I've always loved Goffin playing house. There's a lot of meat, a lot of veterans in this side. Jaime Munar. There's a lot of players in here that are just solid, man. This draw here. The thing I want to say, Alvin, you come out of this section with this many good players, you're playing good tennis. If I played a qualifier, the qualifier played okay, right? Assuming he's played 3 matches, right? Just to get in this thing. I'm playing okay because I'm being pushed, and I'm able to match who I'm being pushed by. My next match I get through, the guy's okay. He didn't play well. I get through, but I'm not necessarily polished. I'm not necessarily tested. There are 6. No, that may be too much. There might be Goffin's a former top 10. There is obviously Draper's a top 10. Musetti's a top 10. I'm trying to look at all the rest of the. I hate to put it this way. I think Caboli's going to be a future top 10. There are at least 4 or 5 former veterans that have been top 15, surely top 20, that are in this section. Some of them not being that now because of age and older, but these guys are certainly good. And the younger sides, the GMPs, the Brooksbys, right, are guys that you're like, dude, but don't sleep on them though. These guys aren't. They're not a walk in the park match. You're still gonna have to beat GMP in 3 sets and maybe 2 tiebreakers. Just off serve alone. Musetti's one-hander is not that clean off the backhand return to defend and hit return winners on GMP. So I'm saying even that match, this is a fairly tough section for Jack Draper and Lionel, and this is going to be a tough one for the both of them getting through this section, and then of course the 2 of them meeting each other. I have to say, whoever gets tested the most is more ready for that matchup when they get to what is.
Well, they're all kind of weird. They're weird matches, and luckily you don't have to play. You can only play who's in front of you, right? So Jack's not gonna have to play, Diallo and Munar. He's only got to play one of them, right? So that could have an impact on which one of them he plays,
right? But Musetti does have to play Caboli.
Musetti probably has to play Caboli, but doesn't have to play Caboli and Brooksby. He's got to play one of them. I was thinking back though, Musetti did play GMP at Wimbledon last year, 2024. That was GMP's breakout, and Musetti was able to handle him on a slicker, faster court. I think best out of 5 is going to be enough time for Lorenzo to get his way through that one.
He'll work his magic, and I watched him in person, Alvin. I got to tell you, my second.
You got to tell me nothing. No, you got to tell me nothing.
My second compliment. Your boy hits a good ball.
Oh, here we go.
Hits a good ball.
Ashley, I can't tell you how many times I've sat in this chair and done this podcast and listened to this man, Torrey Hawkins, just poop all over Lorenzo Musetti. And now Ashley, he's seen him in person one time.
He's not for the world material. I stand by it. I lean on it. But he's every bit. Yeah, he's 10. Every bit of 8 in the world. Let me tell you that right now. And he's happened to be 10. You heard it right here, Alvin. 3rd compliment, final compliment. He's better than a 10 seed. Just saying.
Well, let's just shut the pod down now.
I mean, that's almost as good as a pick. That's it.
And I got Jack in 4 when he plays Jack Draper.
Oh, there it is.
Keep moving.
There it is.
Don't let me get soft up in here.
There it is. Okay. All right. Ashley.
Yes.
In this particular section, what tickles your fancy in this particular section?
Well, I want to be a Zverev fan. I think there's a part of me that the look of his game, the feel of his game when he's on, I'm like, yes, this is great. And he always lets me down and he breaks my heart a little bit nearly every tournament. And I'm a little tired of getting my heart broken, if I'm being honest. So,
Okay.
I want
people show you who they are, believe them the first time.
Listen, right?
Maya Angelou.
I haven't learned the lesson with Zverev yet. I keep going back and Sasha just keeps just breaking my heart. So, obviously I think it's a pretty open draw. I still am drawn to the names like Gamelfi and everyone in there. There's a lot of qualifiers, at this. It seems like they're all kind of chunked up here, which is an interesting, draw, kind of coming out. Is it favorable to Zverev? I think it's as favorable as you're going to get, in the men's game right now.
He's a freaking 3 seed, Ashley.
He's got a great draw. He's got a fantastic draw.
He should be able to work through all these cats if he's true.
Should be the operative word there, Torrey. Again, we know he's a heartbreaker over and over again, and it's just all the pieces are there, but he can't seem to put them all together at the same time. It's when's that going to happen? Is it ever going to happen at this point? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think we're past it.
There's a couple of. There are a couple interesting.
How much time you got?
There's a couple interesting matches that could happen, right? Zverev, I think, Monfils could get himself into a tussle with Zverev because they will both stand behind the baseline and allow each other to play. So
right.
That's an interesting one, but like this is a great draw for Zverev. Like 3 seed, obviously you should get a good draw, but like I feel like he's had
particularly good,
yeah. He's been on the like receiving end of good draws, pretty much at all the Grand Slams. Like he's managed to, except for in French Open where he did get Djokovic in the quarters. It's a fantastic draw for him. I expect him to go all the way to the semifinals. Like I have no reservations about that actually.
Yeah.
He's going to do better against Rublev, to me, than he's going to do against Monfils. He's going to do better against Monfils than he's going to do against Bautista Agut, in my opinion. I'm worried about his first couple of matches, to be honest, guys. I just feel like, he's – and I gave him credit for playing through Cincinnati, being hurt, dinged up, and I gave him a lot of credit. He fought through that. He wasn't 100%. And to not withdraw, which I kind of give, I kind of poo-pooed on Yannick for doing so. I give Alex a lot of credit. I personally feel like we're not going to change much, but Zverev, if he's anything, he's pretty consistent. He usually 8 times out of 10 earns his seeding. I feel like the real question in this draw here to me is, does Rublev knock out a top 4, top 8 player en route, or does he start to fade a little bit? That's, to me, he's more the question mark in this draw.
That's it. I mean, that's it. Like Rublev, it has to be Zverev then. Like
which is a great draw for
around
Rublev.
the 16.
I mean,
it's
a great draw for you. Can talk about it's for Zverev, and I agree. But it's an even better draw for Rublev. Who better to get as your 3 seed than Sasha?
If as a 15 seed, you could get any one of the top 4 seeds as your seed, and he got that's. I don't know what their head to head is, but like at least it's a comfortable match.
Yeah. Who I'm surprised we're not talking about is Felix. I feel like he's had
because
a good
Felix
season.
is a non-starter.
I know.
If you think Sasha's let you down, Sasha didn't even show up to the chapel. I mean, just
look.
saying.
I mean, let's just go ahead and put Felix and Stefanos on the same boat and just send them out to sea. Right? Let's just let them go.
Stefanos got top 3. Just saying.
That's true. He did final 2 Grand Slams.
There is not a player I'm more disappointed with in his career
than Felix,
than Mr. Auger-Aliassime. There is not a player I was more waiting for his dawning us with his talent and gracing us with his presence than Mr. Felix. I am
losing 0-2 to Yannick.
You're waiting for Sasha? I was waiting with bated breath for Felix. And 3 years ago, I finally realized he's never going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
surprising. It's
All right.
it's actually surprising to me that he's a 25 seed here, seeded at all. I think it's a shame that we're not able to have those conversations about him, but
Yeah.
The points are rolling off. Let's put it that way. We're 2026 is going to be real. Australian Open is going to be real interesting when you've got like the likes of Felix Auger-Aliassime and like Stefanos Tsitsipas like floating around in the draw unseeded. Yeah. All right.
playing some
Let's keep
challengers,
popping.
right?
Oh man.
He ain't that tough play challenger. He's done.
Well, I mean, he'll still be direct entry into the event, but I know what you're saying. Karen Khachanov, 9 seed, attaboy. That's proper. This is a proper section. 9 and 8. Tsitsipas is in here. Cerundolo, Arnaldi, like this is a proper section. Just it almost looks like a 500 like event. I like it. So the match that I'm drawn to here, Tsitsipas Muller. Is it callable? Like, am I gonna? Yeah, I'll say it with my chest. This Tsitsipas is going out in the first round. If he even plays the match, he could pull out. Like,
yeah. I've soured on Tsitsipas. He's shown me who he is, and it's not good. He's the one I've given up on. Going back to Karen though, I think he's poised. I think Karen's poised to actually do quite well here, especially given the kind of lackluster feelings we may have about Zverev, right? And who Zverev decides to be. And again, I'm just looking back at this draw. It's like, how many lucky qualifier or lucky losers in this draw? Like 6, right? In this little section here.
yeah.
I mean, he's got a chance, and at the 9 seed, and given his deep run at Wembley, you've got to kind of leave some space there for him to do something here. But I have to agree that Tsitsipas is, if he survives, it's probably a long match, and he probably goes out straight in the next one, no matter who it is. I think, in my opinion. Yeah,
between Altmaier and Mehedovich. That'd be tough. That'd be tough regardless. I'm not as bullish on Khachanov getting the chance to play Zverev, because he would have to get past De Minaur first. And that feels like, I mean, it could be a toss-up.
Feels like a good match. It feels like a fun one to watch.
Yeah, that'd be an 8 and 9 right there. That's two guys doing similar things in different ways, and it would be a grind. It would just be a grind.
Here's your stat update. I was just looking at ATP.com. 7 and 3, by the way, between Zverev and Rublev.
Okay, thank you for doing that. Yeah.
And this is, I mean, not surprising per se, but Karen is 2-1 head-to-head against the Demon.
Okay.
So, just being
on the Zverev Rublev matchup, what about the last 2 matches, and when were they? Because I think they'll usually give you that one like stacked up there.
Yep.
Because like it's like those matchups, like when you look at them long tail, it's like a lot of things happen over the course of 7 years, especially when you're playing the same people over and over. But like if you tell me like, okay, on a hard court in the last 9 months that it's 3-0 to Zverev, then like, okay, that's what I want to believe in. While TH is looking that up, we'll just keep moving forward here. Mr. Novak Djokovic. Yeah. It's hard to really get a grasp on what's going on with Novak, because he just doesn't play sometimes. Like, we haven't seen him since Wimbledon. He's been going back and forth on this whole, like, I'll play warm-up events, I won't play warm-up events. Okay, I need the practice, but I need the rest. So, like, we haven't seen him since, I guess we saw him in mixed doubles with Olga Danilovic, but haven't seen him play a singles match since he pulled up relatively lame against Jannik Sinner in the semis?
I feel like he always brings it, and whatever his method is, it works for him. You can't even question it at this point. At this point in his career, whether he plays or doesn't play, he's preparing. He's gonna be at the best that he can possibly be, for this tournament. Is he gonna face some challenges? Sure, but I don't think there's no one in here that I'm really concerned about for him. Until you get to week 2. I mean, I think he's got a pretty clear path, and of course, any given day, but it's Novak, right? And Novak is going to Novak.
Right. And but the thing is, like, he said it as much after Wimbledon. It's not the issue is by the time he gets to those quarterfinal matchups against these, the other title contenders, he doesn't have anything left in the tank. Right. So, like, as I'm looking at this draw, like, I mean, Lerner Tien he's proved to us that he's a hell of a player. Can he keep Novak out there for 4 sets? Right. Okay. Let's say Novak takes him in 4 sets. That's still a little more taxing than we want, like, early on. He's got a matchup. He would then play against, the better of 2 qualifier lucky losers. Okay. That's good for Novak. And then potentially maybe a Mickelson or probably a Cam Norrie who will Cam will suck it out of him too, right? So, like, it's the cumulative effect of these matches. The question is, can he get out of them quickly? That's all it is. Not can he win them.
That's been the same conversation for the last 5 years now. I mean, it's all about time on court management. I feel like that's his thing, and I think he's figured it out on some level.
Yeah, and that's I mean, yeah, more or less, but that's what we're dealing with. Can he get through these matches, these first 3 rounds quickly, not get taxed, so that he's ready to go week 2?
What I would love to see, what I would love to see from Djokovic that I did not get from the Federer, from the Nadal, win one more and go out on the while accepting the trophy. Right? Like, can we just
pull a Pete Sampras?
Exactly. Let's just win one more, have a great retirement speech at the ready, and go out on top. The slow dwindling of these players is so painful to watch. It's just like it's watching your heroes slowly shrivel up, and I watched it with Fed, heartbroken. Nadal kind of gave me that as well. I really hope that Djokovic learns from those 2 and says, you know what, let's go out a different way. That's my hope.
So that's the counter on that one is Fed got hurt, came back, gave it a go, didn't have it, right? At that point he was too old, right? Nadal, kind of same thing. Got her, like, his last healthy year, he won the first 2 Grand Slams of the year, right? And then had to pull out again in Wimbledon, right? So, but yes, again,
I still blame Taylor Fritz for that match for not being able to kick him out of the door. I want to chime.
Hold on, let me finish it and I'll give it to you. But, like, the thing with Novak is he's almost like got this. He's too close to not continue. Like, he's lost to Sinner or Alcaraz in, like, the last 8 Grand Slams. Like,
that's what we were saying about Fed and Nadal until the last 2 years of their career. We're like, oh, they're so close, they're so close, they're so close. Like, that's the whole point. Go out while you're still a contender. Go out, win, and hang it up at that point. I think
he could go out as a winner, but not as a contender, because a contender makes him feel like I can still win. When Nadal and Fed left, they could not win anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They hung on too long. They should have.
Yeah.
They should have left while they were still in that, like, oh, they're kind of a contender. They win one more, and they hang it up. Like, let's the losing on your way out is just. It's I just don't think they can, because if they win, agree.
They're like, okay, well, then I can still win.
The belief is still there. The belief is, I totally get it. From a fan perspective.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Torrey.
It kills us. It kills us to see our heroes die a slow death right there on the screen in front of us. What I was going to say is that there were some mitigating factors. Novak was also gaining / passing both of them. And I think, my own personal belief, Nadal stayed on because he felt like he'd been disrespected by Mr. Novak Djokovic. And I think he was going to do everything in his power to try to win 1, 2, or 3 more just to keep him off the record books. Unfortunately, he was not able to do so. I will also say that Novak, slightly different caveat, the tour hasn't been good enough to let him think he needs to retire. He can beat everybody else. To tag on, piggyback what Alvin's saying, he's still relevant. Heck, the guy's gotten the semis twice, and dinged up. But the problem is he can still win. My issue with all these guys, and I go back to Taylor Fritz with that match in quarters. What was it? Quarters or semis? 2-3 years ago against Novak in Wembley. You should have kicked him while he was down, and stepped on his neck, so to speak. You didn't. The guy beats you, and he thinks, this guy. And then he sees this guy in the draw. He's like, I beat that guy with no serve. In his mind, he feels he's still relevant. And if he felt that, here's a Novak that beat him. That's the problem. Our tour needs to be able to kick these guys. We talked about the women's tour a little bit ago. You got to be able, at this phase in your career, to push those guys out to the pasture. Unfortunately, our tour has not done that, and they haven't. Yeah. I hope Lerner takes him 5. I really do. I hope that whoever was in Cam and Sebi push him 4. I hope in the next matchup, that the next few guys. I really hope, guys. I hate to say it. I hope that Mickelson or somebody else who's out of nowhere comes out and push them 5, and they end up being the 4-hour max. But unfortunately, what he's shown us all along, he's more fit than almost anybody else. Alvin, the profile you talk about, that profile now includes you have to be mentally tough enough, you have to have the game, and you have to have the fitness to be able to go with this certain 38-year-old. Because otherwise, it doesn't matter. He's Sugar Ray Leonard of the tennis world, but there's nobody fitter. There's nobody ready. There's nobody better at him at Floyd Mayweather. There's nobody better at what he does at his age. Period. There's a few better people, but they happen to have 1 and 2 next to their name, and that's why he's got. And hey, he's got that. He's got a better draw than Dadgum Jack Draper.
Definitely.
Yeah, he really does.
Let's be honest.
It's not a matter of like worrying about, like I was talking about. I mean, we've said it ad nauseum at this point. It's not worrying about losing the matches necessarily. It's getting caught up in long matches that just weaken him moving into the second week. But it would, like, to that point though.
And him are 4 and 3. Novak won 1, lost 3. He's won the last 3 matchups with Holger. So that's his matchup, Ashley and Alvin. And
we're talking best out of 5 tennis too. Like it's
best out of 5.
It's not looking good for Holger.
He has not beat Novak since 2023.
Right.
And Novak's won the last 3. To your point.
Yeah.
Sasha Zverev, by the way, 7 and 3. It was 5 for Sasha, 3 for Rublev. Sasha's won the last 2. He's not beat him. Rublev's not beat him since 2023 as well.
Okay. All right. Let's keep keep the win behind us here and keep moving. Moving into the Taylor Fritz's portion of the draw. Pretty good draw for Taylor as well. Like you've got the we've got the would-be second coming here with Mensik and Fonseca kind of bunched into this same area, which is interesting. But Nico Jari, there he is again. That damn Nico Jari.
Don't give him the same chance as Alvin on hard court. I don't. I think the grass is a special thing. I think Zhao's starting to make some moves. I do think he'll have a tough one against Kuzmanovic, but I also think that and also the hard hitting Mahaj. Mahaj is certainly as hard of a hitter. Maybe not the same upside, but make no mistake, that's going to be a match where they're going to need new balls every 3 games, not every 7 and 9. But that's going to be a matchup I look forward to seeing. I feel like this matchup. Don't forget, Miami was when Mensik beat Taylor in that semi, and I also feel like Taylor isn't as big on hard court as he was on grass. He's a little more human. shoot, Ethan Quinn, a Brandon Nakashima. There's a lot of players that I feel could match up to him. I saw an article about Taylor Fritz wants an American to win. I'm like, yeah, we all have a lot of wants. I personally feel like this draw will tax Taylor personally. I think this draw, there's enough people that think they can go through him. Yao being perhaps number 2 on the list. Jakob being number 1. There's a lot of players on this list that could beat Taylor in a head-to-head on hard court. On grass, this wouldn't be a conversation, but on hard court, what say you two?
Well, I mean, he's like I said before, he doesn't play all of them, right? He only has to play if it's going to be Fonseca or Mensik, it's not going to be Fonseca and Mensik, right? He's on the other side of them. So I think the players that tend to hurt Taylor are players that can obviously hang with him, from the baseline and also create their own pace and go through him. So I don't see anybody in his first 3 rounds that can do that per se. But
Brandon will push him, but he won't.
Brandon will push him, but Brandon can't hurt him. Right? Yeah, he can hang, but he can't hurt him.
Yep.
But so when you look at that potential round of 16 matchup against someone like a Mensik or a Fonseca, okay, then there's a conversation for sure. Then there's a conversation. But up until then, week 1, I'm not worried about it.
I agree. I don't see anyone really challenging, Taylor to that extent where he doesn't get to week 2. Now, again, you always got to put this caveat, especially around Taylor Fritz. He could not show up, right? We've seen him have, favorable draws, be seated high, and lose first round, right? He's a mental case a little bit, and he's got to choose to show up, right? He's not the consistent, no matter what, he's gonna show up and bring his A game. So I'm hopeful to see him. I think on paper it's a pretty clear path to week 2 for him.
I was gonna push back on that, because I remember him losing to Brandon Holt first round at U.S. Open, not last year but the year before. Obviously not last year. He finaled last year, and I was gonna say he's matured through that, but he did lose to Gael Monfils in the first round of the Australian Open this year.
Exactly.
Yep. That did happen. Special case.
I don't know if he is ever going to mature through that, and I think it's his sheer talent that keeps him relevant. If I'm being honest, he's an
talent / serve / keeps him in it. By the way, 1-1 against Mensik, and Mensik won the last one, of course, in Miami. Taylor hasn't beaten him since the U.S. Open of 2023.
Yeah, that potential round of 16 matchup against either Fonseca or Mensik. That's interesting. It's not, that one's not straightforward. That could be somebody's coming out party. Let's be honest. That could be we've been looking for
Jakob or Yao.
Right. We've been looking for both of these guys, and we've talked about them as being the 2 torchbearers of that younger generation that could, if anyone's going to challenge the Sinners and the Alcarazes, it's going to come from that next tier guys who are under the age of 20 right now. And those are the top 2. But they got to break out they got to do it at a slam. And this is, if they're going to do it, this is kind of a good opportunity to, go through one another and then take down a player that they both match up fairly well against. I think Jakob may be a little better than Yao right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right.
But
a little more belief, a title under his belt.
I think Taylor's just Smarter than Yao as a tennis player. That would probably serve him well. But Mensik's got it. He's kind of a little more complete of a player right now, and I think that could be troublesome for Taylor if they were to meet in the beginning of week 2. All right.
My question for both of you before you move on.
We finally got to it.
Before you move on, is Taylor our best chance of a U.S. Open, of an American champ at the U.S. Open?
No, we're about to get to our best chance.
No, yeah, I'm with Ashley. I think it's
chance, Torrey.
I think it's probably Ben, because Ben tends to show up deeper across the board.
Can I just say how great Ben Shelton's energy was in the mix with Taylor as a doubles partner, showing up, giving her the credit as a double specialist. I just like this kid. He's got, the personality. He's got the presence on and off the court. With his girlfriend Trinity Rodman. He's a hype boyfriend in a way. I love to see their relationship and even his relationship with his family, right? The call outs to his sister getting more PTO. And I'm a big fan. You can probably see my face just light up as I talk about him. I am just a big Shelton fan, and I'm excited to see what he can do. I love that he comes through that college tennis pathway and is really making an argument for the American tennis again. I think that he's our best shot. I think he's got a lot of promise, and I think he's got the right people around him off the court to make that happen. I can't say any more positive things about it.
I will pick up where you left off, and I'm a Brian Shelton fan, and I will say this: and Brian's about as quality of guys they come, and if he has Brian Shelton as his father, he's a quality individual. I love this young man. I love his potential. I was on this podcast telling Alvin, I think this is our next guy. He'll be top 10 soon, potential this year. And I remember Alvin agreed with me with his potential, maybe not on the timetable. And I think I was right on that one. I love exactly where he's going. I'm right there with you, Ashley. I like him for all the other reasons besides his pathway and his family and his character. He has so much more to get better at. He is still raw.
I didn't even get to the tennis part. Torrey, I didn't even get to the tennis part.
There's so much tennis that he still can get better at. And it's funny, we were in this conference with all the other HP coaches with USTA Player Development over the weekend. And Brian, very admittedly, saying there's still so much he's got to get better at. And I am looking at him saying, you know what? I was in a group of coaches 7-8 years ago talking about Francis, and every one of us poo-pooed on his technique. Every one of us poo-pooed on how his serve, that forehand is going to break down. We all ended up seeing Francis do okay. And so I was there with Novak when Sko played with him in the 04 Australian. His serve was horrible. Volley, couldn't volley. He couldn't hit a ball big enough to get into volley. And now I see the same Novak as 24 Grand Slams. What do you not see? Do you see the ability to him get better and to improve? Right? There was a guy named Jocelyn Wana who was the best player I'd ever seen on the junior tennis court. But he was finished. You could tell there wasn't much more he could improve on. Little grip issue, but he was big, 6'5", 130-mile-an-hour serve. What more are you going to get better? He's not going to be a 180-mile-an-hour server. Novak had no serve and was in the semis. So how does that guy get better? I see that with Ben. He will only get better. I love his potential. I think he's got a decent draw. Casper Ruud, we're going to find out if he's healthy or not coming from his long, his long situation. I know I'm looking pretty far down, but you talk about between Griekspoor, Manarino, Chorich. There's a lot of guys here that have been on the schneid health-wise. Jordan Thompson. There's a lot of guys. Karina Busta is on the older side. There are so many players that are older and that are a little bit more checkered past. The only two that light up on for what I see, but and I got to say that with a caveat, all of them are good players. Casper Ruud is the one player that could present, because he returns so well, could be the one player that Ben could have some trouble with on paper. Sure. And with that said, I think Ben comes through this with some momentum. And if he really handles these players like he should, Alvin, I want to let you give a chance to speak on Ben. I think, ironically, he's got a better draw than Jack Draper. Would you agree?
Totally agree.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's the thing. I'm going to go back to Ash's original question, or maybe Tori, it was your original question. Is Taylor Fritz our best hope for an American to win a Grand Slam? I don't think we actually
as our highest seed. That was what I wanted to say.
As our highest seed, yeah. I originally wanted to go with Ben because Ben's younger and Ben shows up in Grand Slams, and Ben has only lost two in the 3 Grand Slams this year. He's lost to Sinner twice and Alcaraz once, right? So I can see that he is close. I'm not saying he's closing the gap, but I can see that his ceiling could be 3 in the world right now. Yeah, it's between him and Taylor and Zverev, somewhere in there. What does that mean though? even if he has these things to improve upon, do we feel like we obviously Sinner and Alcaraz are not going to stop improving? Is he going to improve enough to close the gap and surpass them? Like, I don't think so. I don't see that. I don't see a circumstance in which they meet in the semifinals and Ben is able to take one of them out. Like, now,
I disagree.
could he get? And that's why you're here. That's why you're here. I feel like I can see Ben's ceiling, and that is it's right behind those two. That's where I see him sitting now. Now, could he win a Grand Slam if something were to go awry? Like, Carlos doesn't a stinker in New York every now and again, right? Like, yeah, okay.
I definitely think it's the three of them are in the conversation, right? But I don't think that Ben is that far outside of that conversation. And again, I go back to the type of people he has around him. He's going to continue to make improvements. He's not getting the ego stroke that I think like a Taylor Fritz has gotten right over the last however many years, right? And I think that that's important because he's in a growth mentality. And he's had a growth mentality his whole career. He's not peaking now. He's going to peak in 3 or 4 or 5 years. And that's the point, right? Are we already seeing the Sinner peak? Because he's hurt. He's sick. I think it's kind of disgraceful that he walked off the court in a finals, right? You'd have to be throwing up on a court, pull me off, You think back to the level of commitment. I see that from Shelton. I see that level of commitment. And again, I think that's an important piece, that it's not about technique. It's not about this, that, and the other. Of course, those are factors, but where's the heart, right? You see the heart from Ben. You see him at the U.S. Open in New York City. Come on. I mean,
I'm with you on all those accounts, but Ben is 22, Carlos is 22, Yannick is 24. Like that dispersion of age is not changing. And I'm as big a Ben fan as anyone else. Like, he is the best thing that has happened to American men's tennis. Like, off court, he is that guy. Like, we have a true superstar amongst us. Is that going to help him?
Yeah, it's about their career path, right? Like, he's not trying to peak at 22. He's going to peak at 26, 27, 28. Where are these other guys in their career path? Now, Alcaraz, I agree. He's nearly been handed the next in line after Nadal, right? It is so clear the pathway. But I think Ben Shelton's in that conversation. I think you're talking about the three of them together. And I'm not completely sold on the longevity of Sinner at this point, given kind of where I've taken an assumption on where his heart is when it comes to the sport.
Yeah.
Controversial take. Hot take.
The longevity portion
that's tough.
Has me thinking. That one has me thinking a little bit.
I'm gonna jump in while you think. I think Sinner has been gifted a lot of things, physicality as a person, let alone biologically. It seems like there's always something wrong with him. I'm not sure what. And he has maximized what he has almost in spite of it. I agree with you on Ben and his upside in the next 3 or 4 years. I 100% agree with that. I think he will only get better in the next 3 to 5 years. The issue, I think, comes to we have to take those two outliers, though, and put them outside of this equation. Will he get to a point where he will threaten those two 100%? He's playing them now. He will threaten them in the next year or two. The problem I have is, unfortunately for everyone else, those two have hit stride, have won slams, have the belief, have beaten each other and beaten everyone else, and are shifting gears into 6th gear when most of these people are 4 and 5 speeds. Now, is that to say that Ben should stop now? Heck no. I think Ben's only going to get better. But Ben's going to have to now overcome I never thought I could beat you. By the time these guys have won 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 slams each, before he beats them at that point, which makes his job a bit tougher. And that's my only
I don't even know while we're talking about beating them, like he's not threatening them. He's playing them and he's losing handily.
But
like it's
playing
not
them
like
is big, though, Alvin. But playing them is big.
It
because
is,
he's
but not
at
if you.
least
But
playing them.
eventually, yeah. But eventually, like there is this accrued
Did he lose to Alcaraz
damage
in
of
4?
continuing to lose.
And
Yeah, he lost to Alcaraz in 4. He lost to Alcaraz 4 in French Open. He lost his straights to Sinner and Australian and Wimbledon. Right. So we're talking about 10 sets here against them collectively 9-1. Right.
But what I think we're seeing again is
now.
I think what we're seeing is almost a replay. And I'm going to go back to what you said, Torrey, about Novak Djokovic. He didn't have a serve, and he's the one who outlasted them all. I think we're seeing a repeat, almost mirroring Fed, Nadal, and who's the Novak. And I think Ben has the potential and has positioned himself to be the Novak and come in and take that position. Now, we're not can't look into the crystal ball. But I think in New York, I think given where the upswing, I think he challenges, and I think he could beat Carlos, when they meet. I think that's a potential that we look at in week 2.
There are all signs point to, like on paper, that he could or should be the third. Age, results up to this point, progress in the last 12 months, like everything except for what I watch when they play each other. Like that's the part that makes me go, I can't get there.
But think about when you used to watch Djokovic against Fed and Nadal, and I think I used to feel the same way, admittedly. Think back 20 years ago, Alvin.
Yeah, less than. I felt like Djokovic and Nadal were pretty close early, but the Fed of it, considering the age gap, right? Like Fed's so much older than Novak is. So you're looking at players in very, very different like parts of their development. Novak was 18 and Roger was 23, 24, right? So but this one here, now you're giving me, I'm thinking hard about this because I've never considered it before, that the third contender could be right here in front of our eyes, except for what you're saying makes sense, except for what my eyes have seen.
Fair enough.
At this point, but I'm willing to entertain it. Yeah,
I am
up to this point
that he maintains momentum. Let's be honest, Ashley, he's got to knock off number 3, right? And that being one, Sasha Zverev, and he's got to be able to then take more than a few sets, right, and be a 5-set. I'm going to say this in a weird way, loser before he becomes a 5-set winner, right? And I don't disagree with you. I think he's got the most chance of anybody. I want to get back to the draw here, but I say it to say Ben will eclipse Taylor, I feel, in this tournament, and Ben will, I hope, push it one notch farther off of heart, character, and growth, to your point, Ashley, alone. Here's my question. How will he position himself through this tournament to get a better crack at them and get closer in 2026? You've got to beat the man to be the man, but you've also got to lose close to the man and not be routine by the man to get close to beating the man the next time. You got to believe, and the guy's got to believe you can beat him. That's what really happened with Sinner.
I think that this year,
this past year.
Yeah. I think this year, given the arc that Shelton's on, I think that this year, if it is a true, through to the quarters, and it's a Shelton Alcaraz quarters, if Shelton takes him here, I think we're at that point. Now, that's my hope. I think
hope.
It's certainly
scenario.
And hope, and unfortunately, is not a strategy. The words of a famous Adam.
It's not a strategy.
Hope is not a strategy.
But I think,
however, go ahead.
But I think this is a pivotal tournament, Torrey. I think this is a pivotal tournament for Shelton because, again, American on U.S. New York. You know that's going to be a nighttime match on Ash, right, against Alcaraz. I think this is the year, given his arc. Now, anyone can crash and burn, right? But all signs are pointing to this is the year that he takes it. This is the year that he pushes, if not beats, Alcaraz in the quarters, making it to the semis. I don't care if he loses in the semis at that point. He's proven that he can do it. He's proven that he can beat one of those two guys. So
we're aware that Carlos is like he's finaled like 7 straight tournaments in a row, right? He's playing well.
He's phenomenal. He's playing phenomenal. That's why
he's playing well.
critical point.
Yeah,
here.
that is a major caveat that we shall not overlook. He's playing
all
well.
these things are because he's so good. Yeah.
Right.
Ashley brings a point, Alvin, that I think we need to speak to. I think we are so ready for an American to threaten, and we are so ready for a kid with all the right goods to be in that conversation. I get what you're saying, Ashley. I may disagree with your timeline, but I agree 100% on who it is. And Alvin and I disagree on how soon he even cracked top 10, let alone top 5. And I think he's there ahead of schedule. Do I think it'll happen this year? Maybe, maybe not. I don't. In my heart, I say no. But if he gets closer this year, it bodes well for him down the road. I am really looking for, and I got to tell you guys this, and as far as I'm concerned, I am looking for, and I've been pleasantly surprised, and I'm going to say this getting back to Alcaraz. I know you want to get back on track, Alvin. We saw the French, and guys, I got to tell you, I was worried. I saw, I'm a little older than both of you, I saw Borg McEnroe. I saw that rivalry take off, and I was like, oh, snap. These two could be the 1 and 2 for the rest of the next 10 years. Every tournament's going to be McEnroe Borg. And out of nowhere, Borg retires. After 6 Frenches and 5 Wembies. 5 in a row, by the way. And all of a sudden, McEnroe, in a weird way, was kind of floundering without that rival. I saw Pete and Andre. And they had some great matches. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't. I was worried that they were going to get to the next 3 or 4 finals, and each of them were going to push each other at such a high point, the rest of the guys couldn't keep up. We did not see the same final in Wemby as we saw in the French. And we saw in Cincy, no final. Your boy kind of threw in the towel. And so I'm actually pleasantly surprised that the window is still open. And I'm hoping that the window will stay open just long enough for a Ben, even a Taylor, even a top somebody to just sneak in. Alex, I mean, I don't think it'll happen, Sasha, but I'm hoping it does. Somebody to sneak in there to be able to disrupt the flow, because if another French final happens and another one happens in 2026 and maybe 2 happen, they will continue to be the Fed, Nadal, Novak, whatever, of the next so many years. And at that point, guys, they're just playing too good at tennis to let the rest of them catch up. And so that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping somebody
I think
dings them enough to pause that from happening. Alvin?
Yeah, hope. Yeah, again, hope. We hope. And I think we want certain things. Like, there would be nothing better if the Ben Shelton that exists with all of his charisma, his on-court flair, his off-court personality, like he would be the best thing that ever happened. Not ever happened, but like he's the best possible thing that could happen to American tennis right now on the men's side, right? He is the pair to Coco, right? And you've seen them in commercials together. Like, if we could have both of them at, being successful, winning Grand Slams at the same time, that'd be great. And I'll be the first to admit, I've been wrong about Ben Shelton every step of the way up until now. Like, you've been on it. I've been a little less confident in what his ceiling could be, but I don't think the argument that I'm making is about his ceiling. Right. It's about the other two. We're talking about what I think we all agree is we're talking about Hall of Fame players in front of him. Yep. He's good.
No.
They're
Ben will
great.
be Hall of Fame. We're talking about best of all time. They are competing with 5 of the best of all time. Laver, Pete.
Right. Okay. All right.
Novak.
They're threatening
best of all time.
Yeah,
talking goat of goat.
health withstanding, they're pushing GOAT like level conversations with, get some more years behind them, and
Right.
and Ben wins a Grand Slam, then he makes the Hall of Fame. But like
Ben wins a Grand
that's
Slam.
where
He's
I'm
as good
just
as Andy
not.
Roddick. Let's be honest, and that's
Right?
pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you.
That's pretty
I'm with you.
freaking good.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty good right
The
now.
last
Like he's
great American hope.
right. Yeah. I mean, let's not completely dismiss Taylor Fritz out of hand. He did final Wimbledon last year. Just
the way
last one they had. I mean, U.S. Open. Sorry, final U.S. Open last year.
The way I feel about Zverev is very similar to the way I feel about Fritz. I've wanted and seen the potential, and just time and time again, I think they just come up short. And I haven't seen that from Shelton. I think every time I'm like, oh, there's potential. He exceeds my expectations at that stage, right? Yeah. And so that's where I'm coming from with the excitement and the passion and the forward thinking when it comes to Shelton. But all is left to be said. Can we talk about Mountain Man Riley Opelka taking on Alcaraz in the first?
Yeah, that is not a match that we should overlook, because it's not real. I hate it. I don't like any
New
Riley
York
Opelka
and buy
matches.
Riley a steak dinner if he beats Carlos, and just for what it does for the rest of the draw. But I also have to say, I saw Riley and Venus play in the mixed, and I have to say,
yeah,
it's 3 out of 5. It ain't gonna happen. It's too much tennis. It's too much tennis. 2 out of 3, maybe. Hell, he beat Novak this year in 2 out of 3. But 3 out of 5, yeah. It ain't gonna be pretty, but I think Carlos is gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Yeah. That's it, guys. That's a mixed doubles extravaganza, a women's draw, and a men's draw.
Yeah.
This might be the longest podcast we've ever done. But I think we can stop there. Yeah, this is what we do. This is what we do 4 times a year.
Wait, before we wrap it up, picks on the men's side, Alvin. I'm not gonna let you get away with this one. I think my pick is pretty. I think I've almost been too fangirl over here about it. But so if it's not obvious, my pick is Shelton this year. I'm gonna go out on a limb. There's some hope and dreams being put on him a little bit from my end, and I accept that. I accept the risk factor there, but I'm gonna go all in on Shelton this year. Alvin, where are you at?
I'm actually gonna take Carlos, and I'll even be a little more specific about it. Well, I'm gonna be more specific about it. I think we get part 3, Carlos versus Sinner, and I feel like I saw the best match Jannik Sinner could possibly play in the finals of the Wimbledon. I feel like that was it. Like that was it. Carlos could have played better. I think Carlos he still has more room to improve.
He does. He has a high
and I feel like for this, I can't live in a world. I don't feel like we're gonna live in a world where Jannik Sinner wins 3 Grand Slams in a year. But we could do 2 apiece.
That doesn't feel like the
2
right
apiece
timing,
feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 3 Grand Slams in a year is rarefied air. Like I'm not ready to go there quite yet. Now I can't do anything about it. I just feel like when this year is over, this year does not end. Like we don't write the 2025 chapter with Jannik Sinner had one of the best years that anyone's ever had in men's tennis.
Sure.
He's had too much help even to get to where he's at. He's had too much help already. I mean, Dimitrov notwithstanding, and Holger Rune not challenging the ref about how long is this guy going to take, notwithstanding, and a few of the matches Grand Slams he has now would not have happened. I agree with you, Alvin. I think this is Alcaraz's tournament. He's playing well. Just beat him last week. Playing healthier. What typically happens in New York is there's usually 2 different weeks. There's a cool, wet, rainy week, post-rain, post-hurricanes, and there's a brutal heat week, and all of a sudden it becomes a war of attrition. And I think that's what this one's already shaping up to be. I don't think Yannick's going to come in 100%. I don't think Carlos is dinged up, and both those 2 factors lead me to think about Carlos. What I'm hoping happens, Ashley, is that Ben gets closer. Ben gets a step closer, and I hope he gets a set closer. Hope he gets 5 set closer. Hope he gets to the point where he believes he can be there. I agree with hope is not a strategy. I won't counter the great Adam Gusky. However, I also feel that you also have to believe in something. If I believe I'm getting closer, and the score backs that up, he got 4 sets on clay, right? If he can get 4 sets on 5 sets on hard court, he knows he's just a few loose games away from getting there. And I'm hoping that he, Taylor, and you heard it right here, and I love this player, and it's in New York, and it's in his backyard. I'm hoping that he, Taylor, and Francis have phenomenal tournaments just to give the fans a little more what they want. I think it might be a bit of a swan song for Francis. Not that he's going to be done soon, but maybe his peak. And I'm hoping that the rest of the Americans have a really good shot. But it's going to take some heavy lifting to get to that rare air where Carlos and those guys are at. And I'm also hoping that they don't have an epic final that keep pushing them out of the stratosphere so the other guys can kind of catch up. If they do, if they have 3 more Frenches that they had this year, the level is going to be so high, you can beat them on a bad day. But the chances of that are very slim. If they don't have another one or somebody upsets that apple cart, then there's still room for one of those guys to upset. So Carlos, I think Carlos, and he doesn't drop many sets in route. And I'm really hoping somebody knocks off Sinner while he's dinged up right now. So that way it alone will upend this series of the 3.0 Alcaraz Sinner.
All right. I feel good about. Yeah, this was good. We will. I think the best. The promise I can make is we'll check back in. No. I'm gonna pin. I'm gonna throw the pin in it in a second here. We'll people are probably hearing this on Friday or Saturday. Tournament starts on Sunday, and then we'll check back in again on maybe let's say Wednesday. I'm heading up to New York on Thursday, Friday, and then we'll get back to dancing in the second week. But yeah, best of 3. That's Ashley. That's Torrey. I'm Alvin. We are out.